paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. A Clinton man appeared in court on Monday to face multiple felony charges, including first-degree murder in connection with the death of his wife. Nicholas L. Smith, 35, was formally arraigned Monday afternoon following his arrest over the weekend in connection with the death of 34-year-old Cassandra M. Smith. Nicholas Smith is currently being held in the custody of the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office. Represented by the public defender Tim Hall, Nicholas Smith waived his right to a preliminary hearing, and a discovery order was entered by the court. Smith faces a total of 8 counts, including 3 counts of first-degree murder with intent to kill or injure, 2 counts of first-degree murder with strong probability of killing or injuring, 1 count of concealment of a homicidal death, a Class 3 felony, 1 count of obstruction of justice or destruction of evidence, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of obstructing a peace officer, a Class A misdemeanor. The court entered a detention order without objection. Friday evening, the Clinton Police Department began an investigation of a Clinton address to conduct a welfare check of Cassandra N. Smith. Following an initial investigation, authorities issued a missing and endangered person alert for Smith. On Saturday morning, the Clinton Police Department requested assistance from the Illinois State Police Zone 5 investigations. Over the course of the day, authorities executed search warrants on multiple properties and vehicles associated with the case. At approximately 7:15 p.m. on Saturday, law enforcement located a vehicle of interest near Sunrise Court in Clinton. The execution of a search warrant at that location led to the discovery of Cassandra Smith's body. Nicholas Smith was taken into custody shortly thereafter. Preliminary postmortem findings indicate that Cassandra Smith died of multiple blunt injuries. Authorities stated that additional charges are anticipated as the investigation continues. A status hearing has been set for June 1st at 11 a.m., with a jury trial set for August 10th at 9 a.m. A spike in teen depression and anxiety in recent years has some central Illinois school leaders rethinking the prominent presence of technology in classrooms. According to Bement School Superintendent Mary Vogt, there's a distinct breakdown in how technology is defined and monitored within her district.
And I think there are a couple of different prongs here because, technology also includes computers, interactive boards, not just cell phones. And I think a lot of times when people think about technology and the impact that it's having on our young people, it's cell phones that immediately come to mind. And so as far as cell phone use for our students, our elementary school and middle school students are not allowed to have their cell phones out or on. We do know several middle school students, even some elementary students do have phones with them, but they are not allowed to have them out or on during the school day. Mm-hmm. And then for our high school students, as far as use during the school day, most of our teachers have a collection point so that when the students enter the classroom, the phones are put at that collection point and they don't have access to their phone during that class period. But with technology advances, we know some students have a watch that they're still able to communicate. For our high school students, they are allowed to have their phones out during the lunch period. Sometimes it can be a problem because of not just within our building, but then students communicating with friends who are in other districts. Mm-hmm. And some things that are happening outside of school being brought up during the day, creating a disruption to the environment.
The challenge for school administration often lies in where these issues originate. When conflicts arise via social media or student devices, Vote explains it's rarely a problem confined to school hours or the school building.
99.99%, yes. It's not that kids are creating or talking about situations happening within our school, within our building. It is something happening outside of the district. Oftentimes, if there's a situation to investigate, it has happened either over a holiday break, a long weekend, or just simply overnight. I cannot think of a time, and I'm sure there have been, but I cannot think of a time where we had to involve even law enforcement for some of these investigations, and it was all happening outside of school. And then, I'm pretty proud. I feel like we're getting the word out to students and parents that when they become aware of a concern and it's not during the school day, call law enforcement. Feel like historically parents wait and call school the next day and say, hey, this kid is bullying my kid by, sending messages all night long. Call law enforcement. Get law enforcement involved because that's who really can take care of going and contacting these social media platforms and getting things shut down. So I think it really does need to be a partnership between schools and parents because, again, schools aren't buying the devices for the children. Schools aren't allowing the children to be on these social media platforms. It starts at home. And I understand sometimes it's easier just to let your kid have it, and it's a form of babysitting. It keeps them occupied so mom and dad can get dinner made, get the dishes done, get the laundry done, the long list of things that we're responsible for as parents. But I do feel like it has to be a partnership between home and school. It can't just be the school saying, okay, we've identified the problem, now let's try to fix it. It's an uphill battle because they're still allowed to use it all when they're outside of school.
To combat the misuse of technology, Bement Schools is focusing on teaching students how to use digital resources as an educational tool, such as for research and keyboarding skills, rather than for entertainment. Vote points out that this requires a concerted partnership between parents and the school to ensure students are focused on assignments during the day.
Absolutely. And, again, there are different pieces of technology. Seth, I'm guessing you and I had the same experience where we had to take a typewriting class. And so we or the keyboarding class, and we were using typewriters, and typewriters have gone by the wayside. And so we do need technology to teach the keyboarding skills. We do need technology so that as we expect kids to write papers and do research, but we have to be smart about how they're using it as a tool and not as entertainment. And so making sure that, I think back to just a few years ago, and it was kind of a free-for-all of if there was 10 minutes left in class, there wasn't an expectation that kids were actually working on the assignment. They would have their phones out, they would be scrolling through social media, and that, we've tried to eliminate that. This just isn't necessary. Teach them how to have a conversation with each other.
Sure. Several local districts are using the case provided in the book The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt as a guide in understanding the increase in anxiety and depression among teens and preteens. The threat of severe weather returned to DeWitt County yesterday. Ed Shimon with the National Weather Service in Lincoln told the Heart Media Group on the WHOW Morning Show Monday that wind shear is what made that particular system dangerous. While there was the possibility of tornadoes, Shimon notes that wind does not need to be circling for it to be damaging.
Sure, yeah, we've got a really strong jet stream pattern, not only at the upper levels of the atmosphere, but the middle and low levels. So wind shear is really quite high today. And what wind shear does is creates rolling rotational inertia in the atmosphere, rolling tubes of air. So those are getting drawn into these thunderstorms and can potentially produce some tornadoes. So the jet stream is kind of driving show and instability. If we clear out this afternoon, we were thinking some really intense storms this evening. But at this point, it looks like this main show is going to be starting right now, and that we're not really going to have as strong of an evening presence further north here. Yeah, the rainfall amounts are going to climb up there pretty good. I was looking earlier, and it was about inch and a half to maybe 2 inches in some areas. So widespread 1 inch looks pretty good, but some of those 2 to maybe even a little bit more inches of rain could occur with this line of storms, especially further south. So
get local forecasts, weather updates, and more at weather.gov/Lincoln or by finding the National Weather Service on Facebook and X. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hey, it's Shane from Highway 51 Exchange, your mower and equipment service pros just south of Clinton. Click our banner ad on DeWittDailyNews.com or give us a call to schedule your free pickup and delivery today. Highway 51 Exchange.
Longview Community Bank is now open in Clinton, investing in rural Illinois. I'm Vice President Nate Sams. Stop by for a visit or to find out how we provide real local banking. Click our banner ad at the top of the local news page on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Finding the right employees can be a real challenge these days, whether you're hiring full-time or part-time. That's where the regional radio stations come in. We're here to help you connect with the qualified candidates you need. Check out IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. It's part of our comprehensive radio and internet employment campaign designed to get your job openings noticed. For details, just reach out to your account manager. Put the power of radio and the internet to work for you at IllinoisJobPost.com.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency has designated WHOW's many platforms on AM and FM, as well as WEZC 95.9 FM, as standby radio stations for emergency messages to be sent for severe weather, as well as for the Clinton Power Station. We also have a direct link to the National Weather Service for watches or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Munetaka Murakami hit a 3-run homer in a big 7th-inning rally, and the Chicago White Sox held off the slumping Los Angeles Angels for an 8-7 win on Monday night.
The White Sox bats were fast asleep as they took a nap during a 3-hour rain delay. But the hitting sticks woke up after the sluggish start with a season-high 7 runs in the 7th after trailing 5-1.
A swing and a high fly ball out into right, and it is deep, and it is gone! A 3-run homer!
As Monday night turned into Tuesday morning, the White Sox bullpen closed out the game and tucked the Angels into bed with an 8-7 win in the series opener. A fantastic pitchers matchup is on deck Tuesday night as Davis Martin and his 2.01 ERA oppose Jose Soriano's 0.24. Pre-game coverage starting at 6 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The White Sox are back in action on WHOW tonight when they play the second of a 3-game series against the Los Angeles Angels. Pre-game begins at 6 p.m. Jose Fairman hit a tie-breaking 2-run double after Pedro Pajes and J.J. Weatherholt hit consecutive homers, all in the 9th inning, as the St. Louis Cardinals rallied to beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2 Monday night after breaking up a perfect game bid in the 7th inning. With the Pirates leading 2-0, 4 Pittsburgh pitchers combined to shut down the Cardinals through 6 2/3 innings before Alec Burleson legged out a 2-out infield single off Evan Sisk in the 7th. Pajes and Weatherholt's home runs off Dennis Santana lifted the Cardinals into a 2-all tie before Fairman's double into left field scored Victor Scott II and Burleson, giving St. Louis a 4-2 lead. Ryan Fernandez earned the win to improve to 1-0, and George Soriano got a groundout, strikeout, and after a single by Nick Gonzalez, a flyout for his first save as the Cardinals snapped a 4-game skid. Pittsburgh opener Mason Montgomery and Justin Lawrence each pitched an inning, and Wilbur Dodal worked the next 4, striking out 3. Sisk pitched 2/3 of an inning before he was replaced by Isaac Mattson after allowing the Cardinals' first hit. The Pirates carried their 2-run lead into the 9th before Santana blew the save. The Pirates scored 1 run in each of the first 2 innings on RBI singles by Ryan O'Hearn and Jake Mungum off Dustin May. In 6 innings, May allowed 2 runs on 7 hits with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. Burleson and Fairman had 2 hits apiece for St. Louis. The Pirates got 2 hits each from Gonzalez and Mangum. Pirates center fielder O'Neal Cruz was a late scratch because of illness. Cardinals righty Kyle Leahy is expected to face Pirates right-hander Braxton Ashcraft on Tuesday night. Ty France drove in 4 runs with a double and a triple to lead the surging San Diego Padres over the Chicago Cubs 9-7 on Monday night. Manny Machado had 3 hits and scored 3 times for the Padres, who won for the 17th time in 21 games. They are 18-5 this month, the best April winning percentage in franchise history with .783. Gavin Sheets hit a solo homer in the 8th inning to make it 9-5. Mason Miller gave up 2 runs in the 9th, ending his scoreless streak at 34 2/3 innings dating to last season, a San Diego record. Nick Castellanos singled home 2 runs off reliever Ben Brown with 2 outs in the 5th to give the Padres a 6-5 lead. Moises Ballesteros hit his first career grand slam, a 404-foot drive to right field off San Diego starter Randy Vasquez that gave Chicago a 5-3 lead in the 3rd. Seiya Suzuki had a solo homer in the 2nd for the Cubs, who have lost 3 in a row following a 10-game winning streak. Machado had a single and 2 doubles, giving him 400 doubles in his career. He exited as a precaution in the 7th with a sore calf after a hard slide earlier in the game, but is expected to be available on Tuesday. France hit a ground rule double to left center in the 1st to score 2 runs for a 3-0 lead. He tripled down the left field line in the 7th to drive in 2 more and make it 8-5. Vasquez is 3-0 and gave up 5 runs and 5 hits in 5 innings to earn the win. Brown is 1-1 and pitched 2 innings in relief and took the loss. Cubs starter Matthew Boyd allowed 4 runs and 8 hits in 4+ innings. Cubs right-handed pitcher Edward Cabrera faces righty Walker Buehler in the middle game of the series on Tuesday. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Cleveland Guardians 3-2, while the Boston Red Sox shut out the Toronto Blue Jays 5-0. The Minnesota Twins beat the Seattle Mariners 11-4, while the New York Yankees took down the Texas Rangers 4-2, and the LA Dodgers beat the Miami Marlins 5-4. In NBA playoff scores, 8-seeded Orlando Magic beat top-seeded Detroit Pistons 94-88, while the 1-seed Oklahoma City Thunder beat the 8th-seeded Phoenix Suns 131-122, and the 3rd-seeded Denver Nuggets beat the 6th-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves 125-113. In NHL playoff scores from yesterday, the Pittsburgh Penguins beat the Philadelphia Flyers 3-2, while the Las Vegas Golden Knights took down the Utah Mammoth 5-4 in overtime. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. All free, all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Do you love the DeWitt County community? Are you the person who knows everyone in town and has a heart for the people who live here? Hart Media is looking for another sales account manager to join our team. We're hunting for a fun, outgoing person who wants to be the face of our media products. Help local businesses share their stories through radio and digital media. If you've got a drive to succeed and a passion for people, submit your resume. Connect at heartmg.com. Work where your ideas actually matter. Connect at heartmg.com.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I watch the Decatur market very carefully. I stay under these, supposed low price chains. I make sure I'm under them. So anybody that's rushing to Decatur or other towns to buy sugar and milk and eggs and things that matter are fooling themselves. We are cheaper or as cheap on all the items that matter, and I make sure of that.
And as Dave always says,
hope to see you soon.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.